Hello everyone, I'm Chester44 and welcome to this Let's Play of Tyranny. Last episode, which I think may have been a short one, we ended up clearing out Trapper's Junction entirely. And as we did, we happened to get a hint about someplace where we can get a very good sword, over here in the infested Oldwalls. So let's go investigate it and see if we can get the sword. Ooh. An abrupt storm drives you into the shelter of a public house built under a colossal stone overhang. Travelers from across the tiers share the space with you, warily eyeing one another in near silence, until the thin stew and thinner ale loosens the lips of the gathered. A wiry woman with midnight skin sets a large gourd on a stone near the back of the cave. She challenges you to a game of daggers, in which players compete to throw identical knives at a target. The person who hits nearest center in 3 tries wins. The purse, she states, will be 20 copper rings. Play fairly, cheat, suggest a companion play, refuse to play. We'll play fairly. You stand and approach the woman, setting down your own twine-bound rings and challenge. The woman grins, turns, and hurls her first knife, beginning the game. She seems quite competent with her hurled blade, but you sink 2 daggers closer to the center of the gourd than her closest. Impressed, she offers you your winnings and purchases your next drink. Joyful, plus 20% accuracy when above 75% health. We gained some favor with Lethian's Crossing, and the Stone Sea Villagers, whoever they are. And we gained 20 rings. Well, it's something. Okay. We are heading for the Oldwalls here. It's probably not going to be too much here. Hold on a second. I want to see... Stone Sea Villagers. The survivors of Kyros's edict cling to life in the Oh, the Stone Sea. I get it. Alright. And now we fight some Bane. See how this goes. Oh, that was effective. One more here to kill.
Pay attention, kids. You might learn something. On your knees, worm.
And there we go. Also, now that I think about it, I kind of want to do something. Let's see, restoring touch, healing wisps. Because I want Jason to have something. Yeah, well, you actually have vital body. You can do that. That's interesting. But no. We're going to do a healing. What accent do I want? That's range, it doesn't matter. Accuracy doesn't matter. Recovery for that. Okay, we'll go with this, and I guess recovery... Yeah. We'll assign that to you. And you... You've got that, you've got range. You can do recovery. Yeah, I don't care about accuracy, so the added recovery. There, that works. Now we have heals on people. Good. Now then. Oh, didn't realize that could be looted. Here's some more Bane.
We'll slaughter.
Oh, there's a lot of Bane out here.
Strong strike. Still aches. Felt nothing.
What are those? Malice. I remember someone mentioning that malices were pretty damn tough. Okay. Oh boy, we've got a big fight here coming up. Let's wait. We have the time, we can wait for greater renewal. Well, it is still there. +1 armor per piece of armor worn, +2 armor penetrated by attacks. Okay, we'll wait for greater renewal to finish cooling down, and then we'll use it. Just a little longer. Almost. There we go. Alright, we'll get these out.
I'll take care of it.
And get these other spells out.
At once.
And let's charge in.
Lantry, you clumsy shit. Logan!
You missed. That was actually effective, though. That worked. Alright, now for these two.
Like coming.
And she was defeated, which I do not care for, and she's back up. And he was defeated, which I do not care for at all.
Felt nothing.
I will aid you.
One more to deal with.
It's blood.
Almost.
Someone staunch my bleeding.
Don't worry, you'll be healing in a minute. There we go. Okay, that was a bit painful. That looks like it's a sword right there.
Right.
There are a lot of bodies around here. Used armorer's kit. Disfavored warriors are rarely sent into battle without the best arms and armor Graven Ash's quartermasters can acquire, as well as the tools to maintain that gear through a trying campaign. This leather roll pouch once carried iron needles, thread, wax, and a small tinderbox for the repair and maintenance of disfavored armor and uniforms. This particular kit contains just a few lengths of string and bent needles, the best supplies having been used up by the owner or looted by scavengers. You can sell this to a merchant as spare parts. Okay. Simple enough. Loot everything we can, because there's a lot of shit that we can loot here. And here, we have Dauntless, which looks like a very good sword. On weapon crit, foe AoE, days for 11 seconds. Wait a second. Artifact ability. Raise the Dauntless high, releasing a wave of energy to stun all nearby enemies. Damage increases with the Dauntless's renown. This legendary sword was the badge of office for the Champion of Stalwart. So many warriors brought Dauntless to battle over the centuries that the presence of the wielder was often less notable than that of the sword itself, which steered the hopes of Stalwart's armies toward victory. Even in instances when a champion lacked the people's confidence, Dauntless made up for their shortcomings by delivering on the promise of victory. The sword's most notable feat of recent memory took place during the Battle of Quelling Field in 398 TR. A free city's army advanced on Stalwart's farmlands and nearly won the day. When Dauntless was unsheathed, the defending soldiers broke out in patriotic cheer. This abrupt change of attitude so rattled the Free City's mercenaries that they assumed their fortunes had changed, and that Stalwart had gained a second win in the battle. It was only days after their panicked retreat that they learned of their error. Consequently, the cultural significance of this blade cannot be underestimated. Interesting. I think definitely. As your hand touches the hilt of the sword, a rush of sensation courses up your arms as if you had dunked them in warm water. The feeling is at once calming and overwhelming and leaves you breathless. Scent of big mystic claw is bitter and biting on beast woman's tongue. Tastes of magic and blood. Makes kills in shadow yearn to cut carved prey. to fight with sword called Dauntless. Dauntless. I saw that blade carve up too many friends during the Stalwart campaign. The locals rallied around it, sang anthems when it was drawn. It's every bit as meaningful to the Unbroken as Sentinel Stand. I've seen plenty of decorative copies in my time, but this is genuine. The Bane would not have gathered around a mundane imitation. It's the real Dauntless. Deftly snatching a quill and parchment, Lantry begins to sketch the sword. You'll need to hold on to it. For posterity's sake, naturally. As you grow accustomed to the sword's weight, your thoughts are drowned out by a perpetual buzz of voices, fragments of inspiring speeches, glorious battle cries, and the anticipation of triumph to come. The feeling subsides as quickly as it struck. Dauntless pulses in your hand, its potential desperate for release. Your perspective is divided between holding a sword and holding a living symbol. The distinction at times grows hazy. Your power has increased. You acquired Dauntless. Well, I think we're going to try using it, because it is definitely better than what we've got. Reputation ability unlocked. Dauntless Renown ability Stalwart Surge. Interesting. Well, this is definitely going to be useful, I think. Very useful, I think. Glory is better, but has lower range. Remove a hostile effect on kill. Interesting, but no. Also, now we can actually talk to you and possibly learn a few more things. Kills in shadow flicks an ear at your approach. She continues grooming her pelt, long gray fingers brushing through the coarse hair, picking at mange and mats, mud and blood.
Fate Binder wants Beast Woman?
I'd like to spar with you.
Beast Woman gets to play fight with Alpha?
She immediately perks up, salivating and snarling happily as she rises on hind legs and swipes several practice swings to limber up. She splays her dark claws wide and pins you with an eager, blood-thrilling stare.
Come!
Before you can step even a single foot forward, the Beast Woman surges for you without warning, without waiting, tackling you hard in the waist. The force of her weight slams into you, her muscled shoulder rammed into your gut, and you both tumble for the ground in a tangle of limbs and hair and claws. Headbutter. Your hands gripping her hairy shoulders to steady yourself, you ram your forehead as hard as you can into her swarthy snout. Bone crunches audibly and Kills in Shadow howls, rearing back as blood spates down the front of her chin and throat. She gnashes her red-tinged fangs, pained and furious, and looking for a moment as if she may very well tear your throat out. But then she licks the blood coating her lips and grins at you dangerously. Beast Woman likes fighting with Alpha! She purrs and carefully, sensually crawls back from you. Okay. Had any good hunts lately?
Good, yep. And many more than 5.
The Beast Woman flexes and curls her claws in the air, the pitch blackness of them suddenly striking, a stark reminder of their power, their ability to kill.
Went to prowl length of Oldwalls during dark of nightfall. Killed many Bane, but could not kill all. Bane are strong, tough hunt even for beast women. Had to run, flee.
Like to know more about you.
What else does Alpha to Kills in Shadow?
I'd like to know more about your tribe. Insufficient reputation. Ah, unfortunate.
Best hunter is clever hunter. Did not kill out of... Lead conversation.
Want your opinion on something. The Beast Woman sits back on her haunches. She scratches under one hairy teat, then the next, snuffling at the air, head bobbing lightly. Her red eyes slide closed with contentment.
Fatebinder has good musk. Smells of bloodlust, of predator, of savage strong Alpha. It's good to ask Beast Woman for advice. Even strong Alpha needs cunning of bulwark at side.
Okay then, let's try another thing.
Lead conversation.
Strategize the best to deal with enemies and allies.
Fate
I don't know.
We may.
It's possible we just don't have enough opinion. Okay, I gotta ask. What if Fatebinder wants you to bathe?
I'm bathing right now.
Her red eyes brighten with amusement.
Don't simply drag your fetid tongue over another matted patch of fur. Stand under a waterfall or kneel in a stream. The crying statue in Edgering Ruins comes to mind.
Wasn't that statue crying blood?
Is washing with waterfall how Packmate became trapped in iron? Did not think to shed iron shell first?
She runs her tongue over her fangs and rumbles a satisfied purr.
Should let Beast Woman pry shell from ironclad. Then Kills in Shadow can play with disfavored inside. Yep.
Okay, well, I think that's enough of that conversation. Oh boy, you know what? We have plenty of camping supplies. Let's do a rest. Probably shouldn't have, but oh well. Well, we have the Oldwalls breach here, which is actually surprisingly long to reach. Well, then again, everywhere else is a day. So, okay. We have a little bit of time. Let's move on to the Oldwalls breach and start trying to make our way in. We've got this new sword. I want to see what we can do with it. Gregos. Well, he's an ally. Well, maybe not. Nobleman's bracers. Oh, yes, you'll be using that. Definitely better than these bracers. More deflection, more precision. That's good. Oh no, those aren't allies. We've got heavy bronze armor, which is interesting. Less regular armor, though. At attention! A band of unbroken warriors rouse into position as their leader stands alert to your presence. The stalwart captain whistles a shrill note as you approach, and his comrades lurch to attention. He turns to regard you with open distaste. Tuck your tail and scamper back the way you came. The Unbroken won't tolerate northern scum getting in our way. I'm trying to end the Edict of Storms. We have similar goals. Is that right? Well, unless your goals also involve putting Kyrus's minions to the sword and setting fire to the Northern Empire, then we're not similar enough. He draws his weapon. Attack positions! Stand your ground! Well, okay then. Alright. How about we get a haste out, because I think that would help immensely. You really don't have any abilities that you can use, you're just flat smashing things. You get that out.
Pay attention, kids. You might learn something.
Bit by bit, we're getting through. Well, that was nearly dead, surprisingly. Oh, finish the guy off if you can. Okay, any other spells you can... Ooh, you're almost able to... Alright. Oh, move forward just a bit. And you can get all three. Do it. It really is a very effective spell. Use some healing.
That's how it's done.
Almost. One more.
Pay attention, kids. You might learn
Ooh,
something.
we got 2 level ups. That's nice.
See that?
And there we go. Oh. Am I next? The sage points his quill at the unbroken corpses, biting his lip as he finishes the final scribblings of a note. I was not trying to eavesdrop on your scuffle, but now that I've witnessed it, duty obliges that I record it. He rolls a sheet of parchment into a thick tube in his hands. Come and silence the record if you must, but I warn you, the sages have long written memories. No need for concern, I'm only here to kill Unbroken. Oh, I see. A little too nationalistic for my tastes, but they were decent travel company at least. He scans the corpses again and sighs. They call Kyrus's forces uncompromising, but at times I wonder if it isn't the other way around. And how may this humble servant of letters be of assistance? He runs his fingers through his hair, resting his quill behind his ear. I understand that we both seek items within yonder Oldwalls. What are sages doing here with the Unbroken? Let us say we are sympathetic to each other's causes. It also helps that we're both interested in the arcana of yesteryear. The Regent artifacts are supposed to be fascinating specimens, and no sage would in good conscience refuse an opportunity for study. Tell me about yourself. I am Hieronymus, a journeyman of the School of Ink and Quill. I scribed under Gaver's crane, and 17 tomes are bound by my hand. All other details are just vanity. I am more accustomed to studying others than extolling my own facts. I'm looking for the steadfast insignia. Tell me what you know. Artifacts are a fascinating business, are they not? And Stalwart's decorated military history yielded so much intrigue around them. The steadfast insignia was prominently displayed at every unbroken battle where Regent Aspion fought. Over the years, it became something of a rallying marker, and its presence alone accounted for many notable victories. Hieronymus shakes his head with a sigh, gesturing toward the massive stone horizon of the Oldwalls. It lies within, but no good discovery is without its pitfalls. He points toward a wide breach in a nearby section of the ancient stone facade. The Unbroken and I were attempting to recover a few relics of interest from the Oldwalls, but a swarm of scourges put a halt to that plan. Do you see those risks from time to time? When I was training at the library, a senior scribe told me to clear the rats out of the cellar. Some of them accursed things had knotted up their tails, and let's just say what happened here was almost as bad. We recovered a torch key during our ill-fated first attempt to breach the Oldwalls. I have seen fashioned stones like it before, but what we don't know about them would fill a library. Hieronymus points with a shaky finger. Unfortunately, when we were attacked, we got separated from Gregos' men, and one of the soldiers still has a torch key. His corpse does, to be exact. Where is the soldier's body? Just southeast of the breach. Take care, those beasts may still be on the hunt. What does his torch key do? It appears to be part of a lock and key system within the Oldwalls. If only we could replicate such crafts on as grand a scale as the builders of this place. He shakes himself from reverie. In any event, you'll need the torch key if you want to scour the ruins below. What are the next steps? Once you get the torch key, you'll be able to venture past the first chamber. Of course, given our aborted efforts, you can understand why I'd be hesitant to re-enter the Oldwalls. My scribe, Javala, didn't survive this trip. Poor girl. I'll answer any questions you have, though you're apt to tell me more of interest than the other way around, I'm sure. What are you seeking in the Oldwalls? My research suggests that within these nearby Oldwalls are a set of stones carved with ancient script. For lack of a better term, I call them stones of elucidation. His hand darts to his satchel, producing a hand-drawn sketch of an ordinary circle. I know this sketch doesn't capture the wonder, and frankly, we don't really know what they do. We have found spheres of identical size, but differing glyphs in over a dozen disparate regions of the Oldwalls. As we find more of these stones, we can compare commonalities and sigils. With a large enough collection to study, we hope to crack the language of the Oldwalls. We can guess what we might learn then. It's been a slow process. Constructing dead languages without living witnesses is singularly frustrating. It is a tall request, but I doubt Tunon selects fools for Fatebinders. I could use someone with your mettle to brave the Oldwalls. What's in it for me? For you? He looks askance, his chin resting an ink-stained hand. Just reading back for a second here. Okay. I'm good at solving problems, but I don't do it for free. If you're willing to venture into the Oldwalls on my account, I suppose I can pay you a few rings for your troubles, and I would speak well of you to my guildmates, naturally. I'll consider your request. The sage bows with a nod. That is all I can expect. What of the steadfast insignia? It's just a simple trinket to the untrained eye, but every first regent since before the Unbroken earned that name wore the badge into battle. Stalwart folk are ever famous for standing their ground, and the steadfast insignia embodies their immovable nature. The wearer can resist any charge, push, or shove. Ah, so that's what it does, and that's how it would be useful. He smiles, pointing to the ground where heavy footprints are visible under layers of rust and sand. The layers of rust let you judge the age of footprints here in the Blade Grave, and these tracks heading into the Oldwalls date back to the opening days of Kairos' storm. What else can you read in rust patterns? Barrick looks himself over self-consciously. My working hypothesis is that the only person with her feet on the ground during the peak of the storm would be the bearer of the steadfast insignia. Hieronymus aims his finger along the footprints in rust until he's pointing at the Oldwalls. But I suppose we won't know for certain until we look. What can you tell me of the Oldwalls? Hieronymus's eyes widen. I could speak volumes, Honorable Fatebinder, but I will summarize. The Oldwalls predated settlement of the Tiers. The passageways crisscross the landscape, but most good folk steer clear. Kairos' laws forbid entry, which hasn't always been a problem for us, but even we saw the good sense to stay out. Explorers have found old artwork, funerary remains, and other relics of a civilization predating our own. But most find a quick death in the Oldwalls, as the current inhabitants are inhuman predators, creatures of arcane power that appear to travel on the mists. What should I expect inside? The worst? He looks at you with a puzzled smile, his mouth moving in several half-starts. The Oldwalls are filled with arcane beasts that attack erratically and with little warning. My colleagues can only speculate on what they are, or what possible sustenance, if any, they find in the Oldwalls. That said, if you see one, it would be unwise to approach it and ask clarifying questions. Kills and Shadow's crimson eyes darken with a heat, with a predatory bloodlust. Can you deliver a message for me? And not currently. His arm instinctively lifts up, his gloved hand raised slightly above his ear, arm crooked to create a landing surface for a bird. He looks skyward, blinking as he searches clouds for several long moments. My Sunder Dove is carrying another missive at the moment. When she's returned, there may be room on our bindle for a note or two. That's all. Farewell. Okay, interesting things there. And we got a couple level ups. First up, we got Kills and Shadow at a level up. She's never going to use any spells, so that's... well, magic defense is something that's handy. Let me think. Yeah, let's go with strength. And as for this... reaching claws might not be a bad thing. But... let's give her a primal scream. Might not be a bad idea. Meanwhile, Lantry also leveled up. Strength doesn't really matter. Let's see. Ability and spell cooldown would be good to have. As for abilities here... Passage of Hours? I don't think so. I guess Control Vigor would be something to have. And we need to retrieve a torch key. Alright, give me a sec, I need to see something. Alright, just something I needed to check, and it is about time to end the episode, but let's finish looting a few bodies. Wow. Weeping Wound. Ah, it's a two-handed. Greatsword, I think? Interesting. And we have another body here, which has heavy claw bracers. I don't care much for that. Tines of bedrock dot the landscape, providing little shelter from the constant winds. And I just noticed this here. Artifact. You have discovered an artifact. Artifacts are powerful magical items that, when wielded, grant their owner a new ability. Artifacts are known throughout the tiers and the greater empire beyond. As an artifact's reputation grows, its ability becomes more powerful. That must mean the sword that we happen to recover. Okay. And we can loot his bedroll for a gem, which is something. And with that... hold on, let's just see what this says. A massive stone door towers above you. It looks like this was the actual entrance to the Oldwalls. Okay. And there's nothing else over here. So... nowhere else to go. That means I am going to end this episode here. Next episode, looks like we'll finally be actually heading into the Oldwalls. This is going to be interesting. Plus, I'm glad we finally actually got some loyalty for Kills in Shadow. That took a while. Anyway, next episode, we'll see what we have to do and what we'll be finding in the Oldwalls. That'll be in the next episode. So until then, I'm Chester44. That is Jason Pendragon, Barrack, Lantry, and Kills in Shadow. This has been a Let's Play of Tyranny, and I shall see you all next time.